Do you have a problem that your makeup separates or looks cakey on your face? Let me explain why. Hello guys, I'm Val and today we're talking about types of foundation and specifically formulas and why your makeup can actually get creasy or separate. Because this is an important topic and I think it's good to explain some of the physics behind it, or the chemistry. Anyway, today I'm talking about the foundations and primers that have different ingredients, how to define what is what, and what to use with what. That's an important question. First of all, I want to put a disclaimer. These things are coming from my experience as a makeup artist and the person who just does makeup on myself and on other people, as well as some research, which does not mean that I'm a complete expert in the area. You can state your opinion in the comments and we can discuss this, and maybe I will also change my opinion then. It's relatively easy. But today I'm discussing and I'm telling you what I know about these things and what it includes. First of all, the good foundation and the good skin comes from good skincare. If your skin itself is not in the best condition, the foundation will not fix it. These things are not made for fixing anything, really. And the other point, we usually tend to buy products by recommendations without actually looking into the ingredient list, just because somebody said and you think, wow, it looks great on them, so I'm gonna go and buy it and try it with the products that I have. Even if you buy things that are used and by any chance, by any luck, this influencer is educated enough to know that what goes with what, then of course you may buy both products or like multiple products and have good results. But that's not because of their opinion on the products, but maybe they just got lucky, or maybe they actually know what they're talking about. So that's a different story. And I would not suggest to just go and buy something that was recommended to you by somebody. Of course you can try it out, you can test it out in the store, you can, order a mini and check this for yourself, but only if you truly want that. Everything should be based on your opinion and on your desires, and not just because some ad said you gotta get that and everything will be perfect. That's not how it works. So yeah, majority of foundations in the market right now are silicone based, and if you have individual allergic reaction or some kind of breakouts for the silicone based foundation, that means it does not match you specifically, but you should not demonize all the silicone-based products for others and tell how bad it is in this case. So please, yes, you have an opinion on that and it's valuable. It works for you, but may not work for others. So gotta be careful with that. Other types of foundations are liquid foundations, for example, serums, which is supposed to combine skincare with a tone. And the last type is oil-based foundations. As well as we have three types of primers, same way. We have oil-based primers, which contain, for example, beeswax and shea butter. So embryolisse, really hydrating, but at the same time it's oil-based. We have our Too Faced Hangover Primer, which is water-based, for example, and we have silicone-based primers. Silicone-based primers can be, for example, Smashbox or Benefit, the Professional. It's also silicone-based. So you have to combine things and buy stuff. That's why companies actually have like lines of things. They are supposed to work together. So water-based primer will work with water-based foundation. I don't have any, so I cannot really tell anything about that, but they are working together normally. Silicone-based primer will work great with silicone-based foundation, and oil-based primers should work with oil-based foundations. For example, this will work great with Makeup Forever. They both contain wax, they are supposed to work together. This is the idea of it. If you take water-based primer and you put silicone foundation on top of it, so you have water-based primer, you put the silicone-based foundation on top of it, we will get first normal kind of reaction. After application it may look good, but then you will notice that it will slide into the fine lines and it will just not look as good, and yeah, basically it just stays like on top and your water-based primer will be sucked into your skin, but anything that had like water in this guy will just sit on top, because there is silicone that creates a barrier. The same does for oil. So oil creates a barrier between your skin. That's why you cannot mix water and oil. And silicone has some properties of oils. That's why they will not work together. So what happens if you mixed silicone-based primer with water-based foundation? It will probably start to separate right away. And we also have some foundations which have alcohol in it. Alcohol makes things evaporate. For example, this guy. This is Stay Naked from Urban Decay. Alcohol and water will will evaporate, and then you will be left with streaks or just foundation pieces practically on anything, from what I noticed. It may look a bit okay. This is silicone based with alcohol, and even on silicone primer it will not look so good. So which foundations actually have silicones? Majority of them, primarily all of the NARS. Not all completely, but still NARS light reflecting foundation, and I think the Radiant, Natural Radiant Longwear foundation, both are silicone based. Beautiful Skin is silicone based foundation. It's good for dry skin, it sits nicely on it, but you have to be careful once again because of the things. Cream foundations are really good for more mature skin, and also some of the silicone based foundation for dry skin are good for mature skin as well. On my face today I've applied 3 different primers and 3 or 4 different foundations. So my forehead is separated into 3 parts. This one is oil-based primer with an oil-based foundation, cream foundation. Here in the center I have my alcohol silicone-based foundation, and here I have just a silicone-based foundation. This is water primer, so the hangover primer is on this side and the silicone primer is on this side. I wanted to show you somewhat what happens with the skin when you are applying different types of things on different types of things. But how to find out what exactly happens in the foundation? Is it silicone based or is it water based? In most silicone based foundation you still have water or aqua in ingredient list because it's liquid foundation, so they need to have water to be liquid. But if you have like cone, meticone, siloxane in the first parts of the ingredient list, like first 5 to 10 items you have silicones, then it's definitely silicone based. The ingredient list is built in a way that the majority, so the bigger the amount of ingredient used, then it goes onto the first place, and then the smaller it goes down. So what are other examples of silicone based ingredients? I will add just a list to have an example, and the same goes for the silicone based primers. So both have approximately the same stuff. The beloved Milk Hydro Grip that apparently works great for the oily skin, and it's also non-comedogenic because it's water based. It has water in the first ingredient list, and it has glycerin. Glycerin is, I think, reason why it's so sticky, because that's how glycerin behaves, and when it's sticky you just slap the makeup on top and it just like grubs onto it. However, if you use water-based primer and cream foundation, you may get the separation, and I saw a lot of things on Reddit also with the separation questions. The other point, if you have dry skin like mine and you use water-based foundations and water-based primer, it's supposed to be okay, but you still find that it goes into fine lines and looks as if it sits on top. That means we don't have enough hydration for the skin to work with that foundation specifically. So that's one of the reasons I don't use water-based serums and foundations, also because most of them contain hyaluronic acid, and hyaluronic acid in the very dry conditions will suck the water out of your skin instead of bringing it into the skin, which is a bit of a problem if you are in a dry climate. You are a dry skin person in the dry climate, you're doomed. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule of not working together. Silicone-based primer and water-based foundation, or opposite, water-based primer and silicone-based foundation may work specifically for you. Then it's just great that your skin accepts that and that it can work with that. So in any case and in any scenario, you need to take your personality, take your skin into consideration, try things out, and not just blindly follow some advices from the internet, you know? And now I will try to show you what my skin looks like after all of these wonderful foundations were on me. Hello, we're up close and personal, and I hope that the sound will be okay. So here I have silicone-based foundation and oil-based primer. It slides off, it just goes into these little crevices and does not look so good anymore. Here I have oil-based primer. This is silicone-based foundation. It's okay. Here it is fine. Here I have water primer and silicone-based foundation. It's also looking okay. It may start to separate later. Here I have already some dry patches, and this is a silicone with alcohol, so it starts to evaporate and doesn't look as good anymore. Here I have normal, I guess. So far it looks normal, but this is a silicone-based primer with silicone-based foundation and silicone with alcohol, because I don't have any serums, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's the current state of the skin, but you can see how this one looks worse than this. some parts of my makeup so far looks good, but in a couple hours it's gonna be a different story. Hope I was able to explain a bit of what works with what and how you have to proceed. But still, just make sure it works for you. That is the most important part. And check your reactions. Always trust your own feelings and how you proceed with the stuff. It never should be just some blind advice. I'm not a chemist, and I can only say what was working for me and for my clients with specific skin type. For the oily skin, silicone-based primers, for example, and silicone-based foundations are really working great. Cream foundations, not so much. For dry skin, the water foundation may have not enough hydration, so silicone-based and cream on opposite are really also good. Yeah, for oily skin, the water-based foundation also can be really fine. So that might be different for you because you're an individual, and I trust that you can make the right decisions for yourself. On this note, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope it was somewhat helpful, and see you in the next one. Bye!